toy.
We're wanted men. I have spoken.
Welcome to episode 208 or 238. My dyslexia almost got the best of me of the Smugglers Policy. Oh my
You're about to say
God.
the Smugglers Pollen podcast, which would
Yes,
actually be,
Smugglers Galaxy
pretty,
podcast.
pretty accurate for this past weekend.
Oh my goodness. So with
Ooh,
Toylanta and Pollen, it's just awesome weekend. It's me, Glenn. Jason's over there. We got a special guest to talk Toylanta. Jordan Gasly.
Hello.
Hi there.
How's it going?
It's good. How's it going for you?
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I'm fine, I guess.
You got the post-show blues.
I got the post-show something. Luckily,
Yeah.
it's not the post-show crud.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be Pollen more than Crud because that's what I think everybody was feeling it.
Yeah, I mean, I also, anytime I go to a convention, I'm pretty mindful about vitamin C and up the week leading into and the week exiting, just in case, just to give myself a little extra, immunity boost. So
Maybe I need to do that. It makes sense. I normally Tylenol up like the day of. Take Tylenol all the time because walking around on those hard concrete floors are not fun.
oh no, I had maybe it's just the signs of age, but I had Advil on me at all times.
Yeah. Well, it's like anytime I go to a convention, anytime I go to a Disney park, a theme park, it's Tylenol day. How about you, Jason? How are you feeling?
Right. My lips are chapped, but that's about it. Knock on wood.
Do you
It's
need me to
dry
bring
in
you some
there, too.
chapstick?
No,
Okay.
I got some.
All
I'm sorry.
right. My lips
Hey,
hurt real bad.
I appreciate you being helpful, but it was a good time.
It's a good time. Do we have any news, Jason, or we just want to get back right into Toylanta?
I do have some news. You weren't at the table, but Martin from Peachtree City stopped by and he wanted to see both of us. He's a listener, but he's kind of like he said he was like quiet, like he likes to see things from the shadows. He watches the community and stuff and listens to us, but he doesn't really interact all that much.
No, he's
Okay.
a lurker.
He's a lurker, and
Lurker.
he wanted to say hi to Glenn. So Glenn, say hi to Martin.
Hi, Martin.
So there you go.
Sorry I missed you.
So the news that I do have is that it's going to be a late night for us on the East Coast because Andor, when it premieres on April 22nd, will premiere at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Ouch.
And they're dropping 3 episodes. So
Ooh,
if
3
they're-
episodes?
yeah, 3 episodes a week. And if it's anything like the first season, those are like 45 minutes to an hour long.
Ah.
They're like
Yeah.
true hour-long episodes. They're not Disney Plus hour-long episodes.
Right. So I don't know if I'll be watching all 3 the night of, unless I'm just like glued to the TV.
Yeah, I'll probably be watching all of them and just dragging into work on Wednesday.
I guess it also depends on the pacing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the slow burn of the first season, but if I get 3 back-to-back slow burns, I don't know. I might just have to like mentally prepare myself to sit down and watch all that.
Right.
Hasbro did a live stream right before Toylanta, and they did have a bunch of. I thought it was a really successful live stream, one of the best in a long time.
Yeah.
They unveiled the land speeder. It was redesigned, and it's probably the definitive land speeder for this scale. I also think that we're starting to feel the Steve Evans influence because there was a lot of focus on the packaging. They kept pitching that it was heavily influenced by Kenner. So it's really cool. They also said like the back has been redesigned for C-3PO so he can bend his legs and sit, so he doesn't have to sit with his legs extended out anymore.
Right.
Hmm.
They did show off Ben Kenobi, So if you're paying attention and not looking at the land speeder, you can see the new Ben Kenobi figure. It's been pipelined, but it hasn't officially been revealed. It also comes with a Luke with a poncho. It comes with a new carded Luke with a soft goods poncho. He's got a soft goods cloak on the bottom part, so his legs can bend and he can sit in the land speeder. A lot of people are frustrated because they thought this was a great version of Luke.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, they need the land speeder, and Hasbro does some silly things sometimes, and they'll shorten their numbers on pre-sale to make it seem like it's sold out. And that's what they did. It's sold out.
Oh,
I'm sure it'll go back in stock. Everything on Pulse pops in and out of stock frequently before it releases.
Yeah.
and is that a Pulse exclusive?
Yes, it is.
Ooh.
I think it's available one other place, but it's $10 more. So
I mean, if you really want it, you'll pay the $10.
Asajj Ventress is joining the vintage collection. She looks great. She's got double-bladed lightsabers that click together. They also pull apart, and then it also just comes with the hilt. Agent Callus is joining the line. He'll come with a staff. He's armored up, so we won't get the Imperial uniform version, which I appreciated. They could easily done that with that figure.
Yeah.
And
All they
then
had to do was
after,
use Cal Kestis again.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And then Steve Evans was joking with Paul Sung Young Lee the week leading up to this live stream, like they were getting into arguments because Carson Teva or Paul wants his own figure. He doesn't have one yet. It's been 5 years since he premiered on The Mandalorian. Well, he's actually coming to the line.
Yeah.
He's going to be his own figure.
And they didn't cheap out on that figure either.
No, it was pretty funny. He was making fun of Hasbro on the live stream, saying stuff like, "I have enough Mandalorians. I've cried enough of Mandalorians for all the tears," or something like that. And he was making fun of them. He was poking fun at the fact that they've made too many Mandalorians at this point.
Right. And now they did a Carson Teva with the jacket. Do you like it with the jacket?
Um, yeah, I mean that's how he appears in Ahsoka. I kind of think it's a classic look for him.
Cool.
He's also in the depths and the cold of space all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't look. I don't know. I feel like the jacket's a signature for him.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then Dengar is returning to the line. He was the first vintage collection figure, VC01. And so this time around, he's going to be VC01A. Steve Evans tried to explain the A's and the B's and the C's. Originally, A was for Armorer, and then it was used for a Mandalorian that was released around the same time. And then it was used for Salacious Crumb. And so he went to Instagram to explain that debut characters get their own VC number, which is self-explanatory.
Hmm.
Reissued or re-released figures with zero changes will keep the VC number. This includes new cards. Cards can change and numbers can stay the same. Alternative
Okay.
card backs will have the same number.
Interesting.
The figure will be the same,
Mhm.
but the figure will so like Ponda Baba, they're reissuing him with the new card image, but the number on the back will be the same.
Okay.
So the figure's a straight re-release. This is where it gets a little confusing because a remake, mostly new or all new figures will get a VC number. And then reissued figures with minor changes, deco accessories, get a VC number plus a suffix. So Salacious Crumb was a whole new figure and should have been a whole new VC number.
Right.
Um, but I know that when Steve Evans came on the line, their whole thing was to try to figure the VC numbers. So Salacious Crumb could have happened before Steve Evans joined the line, but
Hmm.
that's the guidance going forward. So if he was made today, he would have a new number.
Gotcha.
And then for the Black Series, they announced a Night Trooper Death Trooper, essentially a zombie trooper. They announced Ezra from Peridia. And as I looked at that figure, I was just like, I like that Ezra from the show. I should watch Ahsoka again because Ezra was perfect.
Right.
Um, Yakface pointed out that Anakin and the Death Trooper are both numbered 17. So I don't know if it's just early stuff or another Hasbro number mistake. It's something they do. And they also announced SM33 from uh, Skeleton Crew. And I don't know if that's coming to the vintage collection because um, all of the parts and pieces that move on him, that'd be very, very small on the vintage collection figure because his legs extend out. He has a taller peg leg and his
Wow.
arms unfold to turn to shields. And he's a deluxe figure and he actually feels like a deluxe figure. It's not like one of those, why is this one a deluxe figure?
Right. No,
Like I like that he has the mouse that you can put in his eye.
oh, does he
Yes.
really?
Yeah,
Yes.
but it's like really tiny, so
Right.
you got to be careful with it.
Yes. You have to pop off part of his head and then you can use your finger to push the mouse through the eye. And yeah, it's the smallest accessory they've ever made.
Oh, wow.
I might get the SM33. I never went back to pick up the other two kids. I bought the Neil because everybody has to protect our baby boy Neil.
Right.
And then I went to a showing of the final episode at the Fernbank Science Museum here in Atlanta, and they were doing like giveaways and prizes and whatnot, and I won a KB Black Series figure. So I've got those two, but I never went back to get Wim or Fern.
Yeah, Neil's the one to get because just this past week I stopped somewhere and they had all of the characters from Skeleton Crew except Neil on the shelf. He's if you find him, get him because he's tough to find. Everybody wants him.
I need a Neil show.
Yeah.
And when I
It'll
say a
just
Neil
be,
show, no, when I say a Neil show, I want him to have his own late night talk show. And his desk is his bathtub.
there you go.
And he's just watching the holiday special.
He is, but he's interviewing other Star Wars characters.
And it's from his bathtub. Yeah, because it's like it was fun. It's like anytime that man had a chance, that boy had a chance, he was taking a bath.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my life too. Anytime I have the opportunity to sit in the bathtub and just soak, I will. I don't remember the last time that happened, but
I don't remember last time I
Speak
took a
yourself.
bath. I take showers, so I'm clean, but a bath?
yeah.
Wow.
With the release of these for pre-order, there was quite a stir because prices, there was no announcement on this. Prices were normal on Hasbro, but everywhere else they went up. A vintage collection figure on Pulse was 16.99 like always. Big Bad Toy Store was 19.99. Entertainment Earth was 18.99. And then Amazon was 24.99.
Yeah.
But that turned out to be a mistake because later on they were fixing that and it was back down to one of the other prices. I don't remember if it was 16.99 or 18.99.
Yeah, we had people messaging us about having a fit that they were $25 on
They were they also did that with SM33. They priced him at 25 when he was supposed to be 33.
33. Yeah.
Yeah. 33 was
So
33.
right.
so Amazon just screwed up. The
Yeah.
prices did go up, and I just don't know.
But also it's Amazon, so I don't feel bad.
Yeah. Yeah. But Big Bad and Entertainment Earth, they went up by a couple bucks.
Mm.
So anywho, that's all the news that I had. But before we dive into Toylanta, I wanted to know Jordan's opinion on the Epic universe because Tony was telling me. Did you listen to the last episode,
Yeah,
Jordan?
I did. Yeah.
Tony was giving me crap saying I was a curmudgeon. And I just remember, and to explain myself, I was there early for Islands of Adventure, and it was a half a day park. And this sounded like a half a day park. And they need to start expanding this thing immediately because if it's going to take them a couple of years, it's going to be 2028, 2029 by the time they have
Mm-hmm.
more of the park open. So what was your take on what Glenn said?
On your attitude. Is that what you're asking me?
No,
that sounds like what you're
I guess
asking
that is
me.
what I'm asking. Do I have a bad attitude?
No. I do think you maybe harped a little too much on the flux capacitor for no reason. Like because I don't think that I don't think it's a
Don't
storytelling
get me
element.
started. Don't get me
I
started.
we'll get back on that in a second.
Do you have an answer?
No, I don't think it's a storytelling element. I think it's just an Easter egg. I think
It
it's
is.
just
It is. I
it's a
messaged.
universal
I mess.
property. Oh,
I
go ahead.
messaged my son's girlfriend since I can't call her my daughter-in-law because they're not married, and she did say that there is no rhyme or reason. It's just there. So we have no clue.
But that's why. But I mean, that's every Easter egg ever. It's just there.
Right.
Like so.
It's
I don't
fan
think.
service.
Is
But
it
it's
though?
awesome fan service, man.
To each their own.
I don't know. But I was listening to the last episode, and by the time it was over, I'm like, Jason's gonna flip a table. Like he is. Jason is just gonna
All right, I'll have to reel in and I'll put a post-it note right next to my computer. Calm down.
keep calm. Carry
And
on.
I don't think
Keep
it's a
calm
half
and
day.
podcast.
Yeah, I don't think it's a half day park. I think it's a full day park, especially if you look around and take your time, because there's a lot to see.
Well, on the Disney Dish, they did because Animal Kingdom is famously a half-day park, or at
Right.
least that's how it's known. And Epic Universe has less rides than Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
And they were saying there's two exploratory areas in the Animal Kingdom which eat up time where you walk through the tigers and the gorillas, and that could take 20, 30 minutes.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Epic Universe doesn't have anything like that.
Takes longer now that baby tiger's there.
That damn baby tiger. Are you still mad that you didn't get to see him, Jason, Jordan?
Yeah.
Yeah. Calm down, bro. Calm down. Bro,
All right.
calm
All
down
right.
with the
All
tiger
right.
talk.
All right. Whew.
Taking it too far.
Thank you.
You know what would be cool if the tiger was walking around with a flux capacitor in its back pocket.
That would be funny, but it's two different parks.
They can work it out. They'll license it.
Yeah.
Once this tiger hits 88 miles an hour.
You're gonna see some serious tiger crap. Anyways, I'm gonna start breathing. What'd you guys think of Toylanta? What'd you pick up from Toylanta? What did you pick up over the week? We didn't get into that.
Glenn.
Um, so where do I start? I'll start with the Star Wars stuff, which is only like three things. I picked up the Mandalorian, the Darth Maul Mandalorian, the TVC version, because it was $7. Then I picked up the Ahsoka Trooper because that was $7. And then I picked up a Power of the Force. Is it Power of the Force 2 Seizure, Prince Seizure, or what is that
Yeah,
version?
yeah.
Yeah, Power of the Force 2 Seizure because it was $5. Hard to pass up a bargain. And I've been started to get into superpowers because at my birthday I got the Black Spider-Man or Secret Wars, sorry, Secret Wars. And kind of walked around the show for a while trying to find some of those. So I picked up what was it? A Wolverine, Iron Man,
Hang.
Kang, Doom, Doctor Doom, and then one other one that I can't think of right this second. And then I picked up a Wampa print from somebody. And then I got the Tommy DeLorean, finally picked that up from a buddy that sold it to me like 2 years. Actually, we made the deal 2 years ago. So I have it. It's really awesome. And we can get into that. Do you want me to get into that real quick? Or do you want me to hold my thoughts on the Tommy DeLorean? Huh?
You've got the mic right now.
I've got the mic right now. So anyway, I think they started pre-selling these things for like 250, and I think they've topped off around 300. And the details on this thing are freaking crazy. There's 3 touch points on it. First of all, it's die cast, so it's probably 5 or 6 pounds. It's 12 inches long and maybe 12 to 15 inches long, and it's die cast. So I mean, it's heavy. And there's some touch points on it. So like you touch the license plate and the interior of the car lights up, and it's got 2 different modes with that. So you can hit it twice, and 2 different things will happen with the flux capacitor and all the lights inside. Then there's one touch point that lights the outside of the car up. And then there's another touch point that this thing blows smoke out the exhaust. So I got to find some smoke, fog juice from somewhere. But every time I come up with something or I see something like this, especially something that's as highly detailed as this thing, because it's screen accurate, it's got the DMC logos on it and everything. And then you look at like the Ghost, that's $500, and it doesn't balance. It's like, what's going on with HasLab? Especially when you see people that are putting stuff out for cheaper and way more detailed.
I don't have an answer on that one.
So it's just frustrating. That's all. Because, first thing you do, you open it. I mean, I was ecstatic with the Ghost, but this one, you're like, this is an insane piece, insane toy. It's like, why? Number one, you're like, why am I paying this much for it? And then when you hold it in your hands, you're like, now I see why I'm paying this much for it.
Yeah.
And it came with a little mini Einstein that fits in the thing.
Is there a person in costume dressed in that thing?
They should have came out with one that had a little dude sitting in there,
Sure, they could.
but it's scaled for all the NECA Back to the Future dolls, and I haven't tried putting any of them in there yet. Just because they're downstairs and I'm upstairs, and I haven't brought it downstairs yet. And I don't think I want to put a figure in it. I think I just want to put Einstein in it and leave it alone. Let it look cool. But that's what I picked up.
I have to say it was kind of endearing during room sales. You had your little bag of micro collection things, and at one point I looked up and you had a little end table that you accommodated and put all your stuff on the little end table. It was
Yeah.
right by the door, so people had to see it. They walked in and they walked out.
And people paid no mind to it. I'm like, hey, do you guys
No,
want some unpainted micro figures? And they were just like, no.
it's too low.
Yeah.
Star Wars is out.
Star
Nobody
Wars
wants
is
Star Wars
out.
anymore.
Yeah. It's really bad because we've talked about like it was a run, not a running joke, not a joke, but a topic of conversation, how we're all kind of like going through our collection going, what do we sell? How do we pare it down? And nobody's buying right now. Yeah.
What'd you pick up, Jordan?
Ugh, yeah. Well, unfortunately, I didn't pick up anything Star Wars this weekend. Um, I really wasn't looking for anything Star Wars this weekend, honestly. However, I did see somebody was selling one of those D23 Star Tours vehicles.
Oh, were
Yeah.
they?
Yeah, I saw it, and dude had 7 hundos on it.
Where was it?
It was main floor, all the way to the left, all the way to the back in the corner, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, he must have sold it.
Because I can't remember if I saw it on Sunday or Saturday. I think I probably saw it on Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw it. It was the only one that I saw there. And I don't know if I mean I think $700 is way too much for it, but um, I'm also picky and stingy. But it was pretty cool to see one out in the wild, just because I had never seen one that wasn't inside Jason's house.
Was it in the shipper box or in the outer box? Did they
It
have to take it
was
out?
no, it was in the packaging box. It wasn't in the shipper box.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you were
completely
able to
missed it.
see like the big, all the artwork. But I mean, I picked up a handful of things. Like I had some buddies give me some stuff, or I picked up some stuff for some buddies. I picked up like a DC classic Penguin figure. I picked up a Marvel Legend. I picked up a couple of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures from Spiro. I found a Super 7 Ultimates Mars Attacks Alien.
Oh,
And
that's right. That looked cool.
yeah, I got it right here. Hold on. I'll show the camera for anybody who's watching on YouTube.
Ack, ack.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
And like normally I'm not really a big Super 7 person, and I'm definitely not a Super 7 person for $55 a figure. But I have a feeling that that is going to not be around for a while. So I snagged it when I did. And of course, I had to make a pass by the Four Horsemen booth.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I only bought 2 things. Technically, I bought 4, but 2 of them are not for me. I picked up a couple of the show exclusives, the ATL 25 figure that kind of looks like the GI Joe Roadblock
Yeah.
character, but isn't. I had some friends who couldn't make the show and really wanted them, so I thought I'd put out some good collecting karma out there. So I picked those up for them. I picked up the Skeleton 4-pack. And Jason, you'll get a kick out of this. So I have it right here. I'll show you. One of the guys at Four Horsemen is also a big Disney guy. So when he designed the pack for this,
Yep.
he had Skeleton Dance in mind, which I think is
Nice.
pretty cool. So I
Yeah.
think I'm actually going to save this packaging just because of that.
That's cool.
And
That's a cool Easter egg. Is there a flux capacitor on there too?
actually, it was really weird. This thing like went back 5 minutes whenever I threw it at 88 miles an hour. Yeah. And one of the whoever runs the Toylanta social media page on Facebook, I guess had tagged me in a post. There was somebody who was out of state who couldn't make it and who has been collecting the Big Bad Toy Store Monster Force figures, and they had a show exclusive there too, which was just like a translucent purple figure, and they were exclusive to one per person per day. And the guy was like, "Yeah, I won't be able to make that, and I don't know anybody who's going to the show." So the Toylanta page tagged me and said, "Hey, would you be willing to help out a fellow collector?" And I said, "Sure, absolutely," because I've been in that boat before where I can't make a show states away, and
Sure.
people have picked up exclusive. I just had a friend in Jersey pick up an exclusive for me from ZoloCon. So like I get it. I understand. So, and I had the money. So I was like, you know what? I'll go ahead and grab them. And the guy, we had been keeping tabs with each other through Facebook Messenger. And he PayPal'd me, and so they're gonna go in the mail tomorrow. So
Got cleared.
just putting that good collecting karma out there, man.
Yeah. Good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I do what I can.
You're a Boy Scout.
Yeah, I did.
Let's see.
I did like going back. No, go, Jason. Go. We'll talk about.
No,
I
no,
did
no.
like seeing the Monster Force. Kind of made me regret canceling all of them, especially the Donner Party, because that one looks awesome, which is their version of Frankenstein.
The Donner Party.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Does that cost an arm and a leg?
a
Yes.
few other parts as well.
Right.
Okay.
Um.
Has
But I,
that joke been used for those figures?
Probably.
I don't know.
I think it's been
but I
used
kind of
for
wanted to go up to him and be
different
like,
stuff.
man, why couldn't y'all have done the cool stuff first? But because they did a bunch of runs of
You can still get it.
I
Like
know.
you're talking like it doesn't exist anymore.
But then I want to buy more stuff. I guess I could just do one because I did hold on to a few of the Mythic Legion things. So maybe I can just get the Donner Party and not have to go hog wild on it anymore.
I liked the veteran William, the giant werewolf.
Yeah.
I thought that looked cool, but I can't buy everything. I already buy too much. And
Yeah. Plus,
I've even scaled back and I still buy too much.
right. Well, that werewolf was like 80, $90.
Yeah, that's too much. Not
I,
No thanks.
if they do the Yeti, I'll probably buy the Yeti just because it's goes back to Wampa, and has the whole Wampa tie-in, and that's a cool looking figure. Man, I even canceled. Speaking of, so I was going through all my Amazon stuff, and I saw that the Sabine with the wolf or whatever, it was like a $40 figure. I
Yeah.
canceled it. I'm like, I don't want to spend. Why am I going to spend $40 on that figure? So
I don't have an answer.
I
It's a
don't.
good
You do
figure.
have, huh?
I don't. I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, exactly. So I canceled that while I was putting my ancient callus while I ordered that one.
Let's see. What did I pick up this week? So during Toylanta, my wife was at Target and she found the N1 Starfighter from Micro Galaxy Squadron, and those things are selling for like $2-3.
Nice.
So she got me one of those to open.
What?
Yeah. And then during Rogue Fun, I bought the 3-pack from Gary Weaver with the custom Death Trooper. What was the other two? Wilbur Hood, was he one of them? And then the droid. And because of that, he made like plastic molded droids,
Uh-huh.
Rogue Fun ones. So I got that because I bought all three of those. And then he was also able to pick up the Return of the Jedi Ross pack that was showing up, the special one of 3,000 for $5. So he got an extra one for me. So I got that. But then at Toylanta, man, I picked up Muff Tack for $5. He goes in the cantina. He was opened. So I got him. I got during room sales up on the fourth floor, there was a dude selling micro machines, and most of the stuff he had was opened. They just like put the vehicle back into the package. But behind that, was that what you picked up at room sales, Jordan?
Yeah, that room that we were all cramped in at the same time.
Yes.
Right,
Yes,
the
that
one you
was
yelled
mine.
at me.
I was waiting my turn to get in there, and you're gonna push me to the side.
That was pretty cold, Glenn. I was there. I saw it. Listeners, I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes.
I didn't realize you were like waiting, and I was just like,
I'm
"Oh, cool." I
patiently
thought you were
waiting.
kind of
He
waiting
was
on
right in the
Jordan to come
door.
out.
He was right in the door.
I was on the side waiting. And anyways, moving
And I
on.
was like, "Okay, Jason's just standing here. I'm going to go in." And you yelled at me too, Jordan.
I did.
You did. You
I
totally
did.
did.
Because you pushed Jason out of the way.
No, you yelled at me on Friday night when I'm like, "Come on, come with me in the room," and you're like, "I'm not following you in the room."
Oh yeah, that I did.
That's
Say
a
that.
general rule to follow. Never follow Glenn into the room.
Yeah, that was more of an exclamation of what not to do than yelling at you. I was informing everybody else around us.
Right. Watch this guy.
But the dude did have a set of Micro Machine minifigures, the packaged ones with Leia that I didn't have, and that Leia I actually have the original art for the development of that Leia. So now I have the Leia to go with the artwork, which I'm happy about. Um, the dude was selling the mini transforming head playset with a C3PO that turns into the Cantina bar. I picked that up for $30. That wasn't too bad. Steve was selling the full Cantina band 12-inch. So I was able to pick up that full 12-inch band. There's 6 of them, so I'll need to find a 7th one. But I was thinking about making a diorama, a small, I say relatively small, 12-inch scale of like the alcove where they play in. And that way we can have something to put on our booth and try to get people to stop by and take photos. Maybe we'll put a little GSWC at the bottom. And so when people take photos, they have to take photo of our club logo or something.
Yeah.
I don't
You
know.
can put a tiny Bluetooth speaker and just play the 2 songs over and over.
Yeah, I feel bad. Well, there's 3 because we can count the Galaxy's Edge one, but I feel bad for
Oh yeah,
whoever's
yeah,
sitting at the table for an hour and having to listen to that
Oh my
over and
God.
over and over again.
yeah. You'll block it out eventually.
It all becomes wallpaper.
We've all worked retail, man. You got that radio, that every 5 minutes the retail ad comes on.
And then, I mean, it's gluttonous. And then I picked up, somebody did a special order from a local artist for the 5 aliens from the cantina. And so I picked those up. I picked up some Kim Simon prints of his photos of the original prototype for the cantina playset. And then the other thing I picked up was I made a deal with Narayan. Well, we still got to work out the deal. For every titanium figure ever made, he has the full set of them and he doesn't want them anymore. So we have to figure out how much I'm going to pay for those. But it's the full set of all of them, including some of the chases and their unique ones. And so I have those and I have to find a place to put those on display. It's a lot
Yeah.
that I picked up.
Time to start converting the garage into some extra display space.
All right.
Yeah. I'm going to try to set up an area to do some work out there, like a workspace. So we'll see. But now that we've gone through all of that good stuff, let's get to the better stuff. Toylanta.
Toylanta.
Toylanta this year was moved from when I started from a small Marietta Hilton to the one in Peachtree Corners.
Yep.
Yep.
And it took up multiple rooms just like it did in the Marietta side. And now it's at a convention center. So they have a
Gas
full
South
floor.
Arena.
Gas South Arena. So they have a full space. And then they combined with PowerCon. So they powered up and took some of the upper levels. And so there was a hallway which the Georgia Alliance was in. There was 4 rooms with cellars. There was a bunch of guests that were part of the PowerCon thing. So yeah, I thought it was a great step in the right direction. I think next year was going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Iron out all the stuff that they learned this year. What is you guys' thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I thought because when he did Joe, I thought he did the bigger room downstairs, and I assumed, or what people were talking about was he was going to use the bigger room, and then the smaller room downstairs. No, you didn't think? No.
No, he never had that other space booked because it was already booked by one of the other events that were going on.
Oh, okay. Well,
He
never
booked
mind then.
he booked the one right next, the one that happened this year, or the bottom space that was used for this past year
Uh-huh.
is actually 200 square feet bigger than the other room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's deceptive.
It really is.
I
It felt
also
bigger.
think I also think that I bumped into him briefly, and because he was busy all weekend,
Yeah.
and I was on my way out. I bumped into him. I shook Brett's hand and I was like, hey, thanks for a great show, and this was great, and etc. etc. Yeah, we kind of got into a small, quick discussion about the size of the room, and um, he said that the room is 200 square feet bigger than the other room that was used for Joe Lanta, but there was also like it's also a different shape. It's oblong, and because it's oblong, there was I think it was, I can't remember if he said it was more or less vendors in there, but it was all in all, it equaled to the fact that it wasn't butts to butts all weekend. That there was
Yeah.
ample walking space, and it didn't suffer ticket sales, from what I understand.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
Did you see
Well,
next year is going to be bigger, baby?
I don't know. He didn't go into any kind of like specifications about next year, but I did say, like, I hope you decide to keep it here. I mean, technically the space can go anywhere, I guess. Or the convention can go into any space, I guess, as long as it's big enough.
yeah.
But I was like, I told him, I expressed to him, I was like, no, I think this was a really good space. I like that we had the upstairs rooms, and I like that we had the big downstairs room, and it was very easy to get to and from all of the vendor spaces. I didn't feel like I had to go on a hunting, seek out and hunt type situation.
Right.
Yeah, unlike years past where we've had to go around a corner and there's five more rooms.
We didn't have enough space to stand behind our table at
Yeah,
the
that time too.
Peachtree
Mm-hmm.
Corners one. So
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the space. I like the fact that I think for Joe Lana wasn't parking like $15, and then they knocked it down for Toylanta or something. It felt parking was more expensive at Joe Lana maybe, but I like the fact that parking was only $5. Um, you know, which helped get us more money for toys there. Trying to think what else. I liked it. I mean, it did feel a lot spread out. It was definitely different than years past, but it was enjoyable.
yeah, I concur.
Yeah.
I thought it was great,
Yeah.
and I guess I already said what I wanted to say.
I
Um,
like
I
the go ahead. No, go ahead.
yeah, I just want to say that the PowerCon aspect of things was kind of murky, I would say.
Uh-huh.
I know I had Power Up, and it wasn't PowerCon, but it didn't feel like anything was Power Up-ish. I don't know if they added that second level, and that was what they considered, the Power Up stuff. Um,
All the guests were PowerCon guests as opposed to Toylanta guests. So
but
I think that whenever, and I'm assuming this, so take this with a grain of salt. Whenever because PowerCon couldn't happen this year because they don't have their vendor hall, or they couldn't get the venue they wanted. So it was going to go 2 years without having an actual PowerCon. So I think this was kind of a way to just keep the PowerCon / Power Up. That's why they came up with the whole Powered Up Toylanta moniker. But Pixel Dan, um, Robo from Robo Don't Know, as well as some of the artists and some of the Masters of the Universe theme, like the filmmakers and whatnot. I think that was all put together by PowerCon and then kind
yeah,
of okayed by Toylanta. So that was, I don't want to say it was one person doing the entire convention's programming. I think it was probably each convention doing their own programming, and then getting together and saying, we're doing this over here and we're doing this over here. So it, I wasn't expecting a full blown like double convention, like a full on Toylanta and a full blown um PowerCon, but I think it was just a way to keep the PowerCon name up and running in a 2 year slump of not getting their venue.
well, I'll say it was just murky and confusing. So I know it was one big thing, but I did speak with someone when we were doing trivia. I was trying to figure out where to go, and the dude was like, "I'm going to talk to the promoter of PowerCon because this isn't this wasn't worth the trip." And he's a PowerCon guy, so he's been to every PowerCon, including the ones in California before it moved to Ohio.
Mhm.
And so he was just severely disappointed. And I think he felt like this was some sort of ploy or a deceptive thing. Like he felt fooled into going to this because PowerCon was associated with it. And he was completely disappointed.
Hmm. Well, you've been to PowerCon, Jason. How did it feel? What you've experienced at PowerCon? We Jordan and I haven't,
Yeah.
unless I'm wrong, Jordan.
No, I've never been.
Okay.
No, I mean, PowerCon is about the same as this.
Uh-huh.
It's heavy on guests. And, Pixel Dan, like you were saying, some of the cosplayers, Wayne, they all went to PowerCon, but they also all been to Toylanta. There's a couple that, like you were saying, the filmmakers, they obviously haven't been to Toylanta before, but but I don't know. It felt like just one big convention, and I was trying to figure out how does PowerCon play into this, the power up stuff, and I just assumed that the second floor was an addition to get more vendors and get more space, and that might be the power area, power
Mhm.
up, because it's up on the second floor.
That's the head canon you're working with.
There
Yeah.
you go, Jason. I enjoyed being on that second floor because we were a little nervous when they were like, "Well, you're going to be in a hallway upstairs," because we've been, shoved in corners before at Toylanta, and it turned out to be a really good spot for us
Mhm.
as a club.
Mhm.
We, had a lot of good conversations, met a lot of nice people with that.
Hmm.
I wasn't able to make it to Jolanta last year.
Uh-huh.
I was on my anniversary with my wife. Ugh.
Oh,
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 Ugh.
man.
Ugh.
oh,
Just spending time at a Disney resort in Hilton Head.
quality time. Ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. During a hurricane, no less. So this was my first time physically being at that venue, and I really liked it. I was fortunate enough. My buddy Matt had reached out and said that he had a room, or he booked a room at the Holiday Inn, which was just on the other side of the parking deck. It was like a 4 or 5 minute walk from our hotel door to the entrance doors of Toylanta. So that really helped out. So not having to drive all the way back to, an hour and a half back to Canton each night really, really helped out. I liked the floor space. I thought even the upstairs rooms were a very good size. Again, I never at any point felt like I was crowded by somebody, nor was I crowding somebody. I thought everything had a lot of space to move around. Some of the doors did bottleneck because I think only one or two, or maybe two or three of the rooms upstairs only had one door in, one door out.
Right.
But I think bottlenecking is to be expected. That's not swaying my opinion one way or the other of the show. I thought the upstairs spaces were good. I thought the upstairs hallway spaces were good. I liked how when you go up the escalator, all of the all of the tables were kind of right in view, so you can see. You didn't have to hunt for anybody.
Right.
I think the extent of your hunting is, just go upstairs, and then they were all right there. No one was tucked away in a a nook somewhere that you had to really seek them out. I also like that they had that really nice cafe right there. At the Peachtree Corners,
Yeah.
there was that very small restaurant, and they never opened the outdoor seating, so it was always crowded, and everybody had to go off site, and
It took forever to
parking
get your food.
yeah,
Yeah.
parking was an issue.
Ugh.
I remember that time, the three of us and Narayan, and I think Tony. There was like a whole bunch of us. We all went to lunch at the Lucky Dog. We all clown card into Narayan's minivan,
Yes.
and when we came back, we had to park in one of like the businesses over, that to the right of the hotel, because there was no parking anywhere. So bigger venue space. The parking deck is a huge help, and having that cafe, which served a bunch of different stuff. You wanted Mexican food, they had nachos. You wanted pizza, they had pizza. You wanted burgers, sandwiches, water, soda, they had everything.
Yeah.
And if you didn't want any of that, it was a 5-minute drive in any direction to get to a slew of other restaurants. So I know we ate off site for dinner the Friday night and Saturday night. But the show was great. I love the fact that they're getting more and more independent toy developers there.
Hmm.
The plus side is that they're getting more and more independent toy developers. I would say the downside is I do see a lot of repeat vendors, and I don't think that's a bad thing per se. It's not a negative. But the three of us specifically, and some of our friends, we go to a lot of the other shows in the area. We will go to Joe Fest in Augusta, and we'll go to Retro Toy Con in Greenville, South Carolina. So a lot of those same vendors hit that show too. So it's more or less, and they're just out there trying to make their money. I'm not trying to like harp on them or anything, but you start to say like recognize all of the vendors. Like, okay, this person typically has this. This person typically has this.
Right.
I will say I was happy to see that there was a little bit of a switch up in vendor space this year. There were some people that I didn't see before, or at least I don't remember seeing. So I thought that was really cool.
Hmm.
And a little bit more variety too. I'm a Transformers guy, and then there was one booth that was about 90% vintage Transformers,
Yeah.
and he had five not Ultra Magnuses, five Fortress Maximuses in the box, which was bonkers. So I was really excited to see that. But it's all in all, I thought it was a great show. I thought it was a great venue. I hope it stays there. I'm not sure what direction they're gonna go, if they're gonna find another venue or not. But I would be more than happy if it stayed where it was.
I hope it stays. I hope he signed a multi-year
Yeah.
agreement and booked for more space. I think it would be cool if everybody was together in one big room
Mm-hmm.
and not have to go upstairs. So if they can get that other room and bump it out and get more vendors so you can have more diversity in the vendors,
Mm-hmm.
maybe offer a discount for those that are traveling from far to try to get more people from out.
Hmm.
You know what my one complaint is? It took 20 minutes for me to get coffee from Starbucks.
Oh, yeah. I
Well,
mean,
there.
And that's a complaint on Starbucks, not the convention.
Well, you also probably ordered a frou-frou drink. If you would have just ordered black coffee, I had mine in like 2 minutes.
I had first off, I had a white mocha, sir. That is the most standard of Starbucks drink.
I
There,
had a
it just so
pinky
happened that there was
trinky
like,
dinky.
is that what it's called? Um, but
Oh,
just like
man.
any other convention hall, damn it. Um, just like any other convention hall, there was like five other things going on. So there's like a dance competition with all these dance moms going
Yeah.
around, and they were all standing in line. It's it didn't take me long to order my coffee, but it was about a 15-minute wait after I ordered my coffee to get it, because there was only
Was
like
it
three
Saturday?
people.
Was it
Yeah,
Saturday?
it was Saturday.
Yeah, because Sunday I got coffee and it was the end of Ramadan. So everybody that was celebrating the end of that were going to Starbucks because they could have morning coffee and food
Yeah,
again. So the
yeah.
fasting was over. So it was long. If I had one complaint, it'd be the panels. I did look at the panels and I just kind of shrugged my shoulder, like, nothing here. And I get it, to each their own. Like, not everything needs to be guided towards me or tailored toward to
Mm.
me. But if they could change things up next year and have maybe a couple different panels, maybe something will resonate with me. So I guess the only thing is just don't hit repeat on the panels.
Let me go back one. If I have any critique to give, there were the Holiday Inn was one of the, let's, for lack of a better phrase, let's just say host hotels, or that's
Yeah.
where the after hour stuff was going on.
Yeah.
And then the Hilton was another one of the hotels. And I'm not too sure, but I don't know if the Westin had stuff going on
I think
in the
so.
evening or not. But the Hilton and the Holiday Inn are a significant amount, ways away from each other. You can still walk to them within like 5 or 10 minutes,
Yeah.
but you're also crossing a 4 or 5 lane highway,
Yeah.
late at night to get to one to the other. So if like the after hour stuff was a little bit more, I think, together in terms of distance, then because I think people were coming into the Holiday Inn thinking that certain things were going on there that was actually going on in the Hilton, and then vice versa. So
Yeah.
I
There
think
was
if there's a way to get those after hours, like the room swaps and the trivia stuff, um, a little bit closer together in distance, I think that would probably be good.
Yeah.
But
there was
I
some
also
conf
realize that they work with, they got to work with what they got. So
yeah. We operated trivia. It went really well. The people who showed up, they participated and they seemed to have fun. I expected more people, and so it only took about 25 minutes to complete trivia. Um, I was also expecting more time for people to talk and try to figure things out. Um, and that just didn't happen. So we were done in 25 minutes, but there was some confusion about which rooms go to where and who's what. And there's a showing of Voltron that was supposed to be in one room, but then all the equipment was in the other hotel. So I'm a simple dude. I just say, just do room sales. That would be my suggestion. But, I appreciate that they're trying to offer different things for collectors across
I know that there was a
sites.
customizers event going on at the Hilton on Saturday night.
I didn't see
I'm
that.
not quite sure exactly what it was. I didn't really look into it. I was just kind of, I was with you guys at the Hilton, and some of our other friends, and I was just like you going through the room sales. Um, I don't know, like I feel like maybe if you did some of those workshops during the day
Hmm.
as opposed to like an after hours event, or if you do have an after hours event, maybe have it in a room in the venue space. Unless, I mean, I don't know if they all have to vacate the building at a certain time or what, but I don't know the rules behind that. But maybe if they can't be in after the doors locked for the vendor hall, maybe maybe have that just a workshop during the day, or maybe an early morning workshop or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because we were concerned because it was trivia was happening the same time as room sales. And then like Jason was saying, the people at the hotel, we were like, hey, we're here for trivia. And they're like, you're here for what?
Mm,
So there was a lot of confusion with that, and I know Brett was kind of getting frustrated because the hotels seemed to not know what was going on
right.
at after hour stuff. So, and it almost sounds like, and because we were talking about the Voltron showing, and then there was equipment in the room sales. It almost sounds like maybe the room sales took over Voltron, you, you know, um,
Yes.
where they were
Yes.
going to
I
show Voltron, so that had threw a wrench in things.
yes,
So
that's what happened. But the
Yeah.
convention itself was great.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So
I mean, no, it was a fun time. I mean, that was the only downfall, the only thing we could really, poo-poo on,
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, I wouldn't even say it's like poo-pooing on it. Like, to be
Yeah.
honest with you, that said, a big thank you to Brett and all of the Toylanta volunteers and staff, and the PowerCon volunteers and staff, because I had a great time. And I was fortunate enough that the last handful of years I've gotten to be there on press just because I've got the YouTube channel. And Jason, you were talking earlier about how your first Toylanta was at the Hilton off of Marietta.
Yeah.
I went. My first one was the year before that. Well, it was 2019, so it was the year before COVID, and it was all the way off 85 in a different. I think it was a different Hilton, or was it a Marriott? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was over like on Claremont Road, near
Yeah, it was
Claremont
off of
Road.
Claremont, and it was. As a matter of fact, I think that's where I first saw the club in person, because you
Yeah.
guys were off that little hallway, and I got my picture taken in front of the backdrop. Um, but I remember when it was there, and it was like three really small rooms and then one kind of okay sized vendor hall.
Hmm.
So I definitely have seen this show grow from space to space, and I think I loved it this year. And again, I'm not saying that just because I got a press badge. I would have paid to go to this show.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, this is a show that I've been going through for probably 15 years.
mhm.
And then I remember that Claremont, and it was, and you watch it, and you're like, for like 2 years, you were like, we need to move it. And the guy that was running it at the time, he was trying to keep it where you could find free parking. So that was one a big stickler with him, and that Claremont had free parking, so he stayed there forever. And then it moved like it's almost moved every year since like the last 4 or 5 years, but it's keeping growing, man. It's fun to watch. And like you were saying, we've put on a show with 10 vendors. I couldn't imagine, and that was a headache. I couldn't imagine putting a show on with hundreds of vendors.
I mean, I want to, again, I'll say it. I'd love to see more independent toy vendors show up. There was one that caught my eye. I do want to give a shout out, and it was called From the Realm. They were upstairs in the PowerCon area, in the room all the way to the left, and they brought some prototypes for their Kickstarter, which is about to launch in May, and it's 6-inch scale vampire figures. There's
Ooh, I
one that
missed
looks like,
that.
I've got video, so look for the video. I definitely showcased them in my video. One of the vampires is a Nosferatu type vampire, and another one's a little bit more of like the Victorian aristocratic, like Lestat type vampire. And
Do they come with a camera crew?
No, they did. I wish. We're werewolves, not swearwolves. But the prototypes look great, and I chatted with them for a while. They were great. The beasts of the Mesozoic were there. They were showing off a lot of their cool dinosaur figures, and I almost bought one of the saber-toothed cat figures. But I don't know. I love it whenever shows like that really show love to independent toy vendors. And I'm not throwing shade at any of the other toy vendors that are just, that just go and buy lots of old toys and then just try to sell them at conventions and shows, because some of those booths you go in and it's just a hodgepodge. It's just you don't know what's there, and some people love that. And then I'm not throwing shade, but I love it whenever an independent toy collector or an independent toy company or toy vendor is able to get their message to the people.
Right. Well, that's what I liked about Joe Fest, is they had a lot of that, and I think he's done a good job of bringing that here. The independent people. And I guess I need to pay more attention because I totally miss those vampires.
Speaking of vampires,
Yeah.
there's a legend that New Orleans has vampires. And you two are from that area. Thoughts?
I mean, it's all legend and myth. Like, I don't, yeah.
There is a vampire bar, though.
There's a vampire bar. There's the Jean Lafitte's, which is the oldest bar in New Orleans, allegedly, and it's allegedly haunted by the pyre Jean Lafitte. And there's the legend, not the legend, like Madame Lalaurie in the Lalaurie Mansion. Historically she was not a good person. Right. But I think my favorite South Louisiana myth, though, is the Lougarou or the Rougarou. You can use
it's the Rougarou.
The Ruga. You could use either one.
Right.
Like they're interchangeable, but it's all fictitious. Like it's all just legend and urban legend.
Yeah.
So
there's a legend of a church where there's vampires in the attic. That's where they stay. And it's
crazy that a vampire would stay in a church.
Yeah.
Was it a church? Maybe it's an orphanage or something like that. I don't know, man.
and truthfully, with as weird as New Orleans is, I wouldn't doubt there's just people that think they're vampires that live there.
Oh, there's a big like vampire culture, goth vampire culture down there for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you brought it to vampires, which got me thinking about stuff I've seen recently where people are telling stories where they swear they saw a vampire in New Orleans.
I love those stories, though, man. Just give me
more
fun. Of those. I love it.
It's fun, but it's not true.
They were probably really drunk,
folks. They're just drunk.
They were just drunk. Yeah.
You look like a vampire.
I got bit by a vampire, buddy. That was a mosquito. You got bit by a mosquito.
That was a guy mistaking you for meth.
Yeah.
Yes, in New Orleans, yes.
Yeah.
So wrapping up, good show.
Yes.
Looking forward to next year. Hopefully they announce a date. We'll get that on calendars and all that good stuff. Any last Last thoughts.
No,
It was
I
a great
think Brett.
show.
No, I think Brett
Take
did a
me
good
back.
job, and I wouldn't want to do it. I mean,
Uh,
as cool as you think it would be a pain.
yeah, it would be a pain in the ass. How did I do this time, Jordan? I'm asking you what you thought of me.
What did I think of you? I love you,
Yes.
buddy. I think you're great.
Oh, great. Did you hear
Oh.
that, Tony? I did a great job this time, Tony. I wasn't a
But
crab apple.
hold on though. I did want to show you this one flux capacitor that I had. It's just
It's
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 weird that I
not
put
a
it on the back of a roller coaster.
Right.
although I did hear that people were getting, and I don't know if this is true. This could be just clickbait. Employees and
Uh-huh.
friends and family, like you were told not to take photos.
Yeah.
People were getting fired allegedly for
Yes.
taking photos,
Yes.
but
My
they're
my
saying
huh?
up to 600 people.
Up they were saying up to 600.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
my son and his girlfriend told me do not take pictures because they were firing people.
Okay.
Yes, it was pretty common knowledge that
Wow.
and I forgot to say this last week. It was weird walking around a theme park where nobody was taking pictures.
It's like the 90s all over again.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's almost like you had to enjoy yourself.
right, exactly. People, you were on your phone because you could use the app, and you had to use the app to mobile order, but
But
that
what
was
was
all you could
happening on
use it for.
Facebook? What
Huh?
was happening on Facebook?
What was happening on Facebook? I don't know,
Yeah.
man. It's all ads. It was just ads, but they were legitimately, yeah, if people were taking pictures, you were getting fired.
I don't know. I reposted a picture of a cat. I noticed that you didn't like it, Glenn.
Oh
You were
no.
busy that weekend, apparently.
I probably was. Yeah.
Trying to figure out why there's a flux capacitor on the roller coaster.
But no, that park when people can take pictures, that's going to be the biggest pain in the ass because there are just so many places to take pictures in that park.
I
People
did
are just
see Universal was on top of like getting people to take those pictures down that they did sneak and post on social media.
yeah. I saw some stuff on TikTok, but I think it was people with like meta glasses or whatever in this account. I was shocked that
Oh.
it lasted as long as it did. But yes, Universal was not messing around with pictures.
What about artist renderings of areas? Are you able to paint a picture and then take it out of the park and post it? What are their thoughts on
I,
that?
I might have.
What about entering it into GPT to describe what you saw and it comes up with a rendering? How did they feel about that?
Yeah, probably not. But then it would
Like,
probably be missing a head or done really weird.
what if you did a chalk drawing? No, I'm trying to recreate that scene from Gremlins 2. If they get a sesame seed stuck in their teeth at 11:59 and they swallow it at 12:01, what happens?
Oh.
Well, anyways. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jordan, for joining us. Jordan,
Yeah,
before
thanks
we
for
go, where
having
can
me.
everyone find you?
On all of the social medias, Blue Sky, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, you could find me at Jordan Ghastly. But the big one is YouTube, my YouTube page at Jordan Ghastly. All you got to do is just search that name. And I've already dropped my first video for Toylanta this morning. I'm probably going to edit my day 2 tomorrow. I'm going to kind of space them out and see if I can get, like a week's worth of like 3 videos or something. And but yeah, that's where you can find me, Jordan Ghastly, on all the socials.
And Glenn, where can they find you?
Cajun Fett on the Instagrams.
The Smugglers Galaxy podcast.
Yes, and
Yeah.
Smugglers Galaxy Podcast, your favorite Star Wars podcast for smugglers in the
The
galaxy.
Smugglers Pollen podcast.
Yes.
I have a very dangerous thing that I can do. My Glenn's personal Facebook account is linked to the social media for Smugglers Galaxy on Instagram. So if I post something on Instagram, Smugglers Galaxy, it shows up on his page like he personally posted it. So
Oh, that's weird.
there's
Yeah.
a lot of power there
Maybe
that
I
I'm
need to
wielding.
unlink that.
I'm gonna send you some pictures to post, Jason.
Do it.
Yes.
Do it.
Do it. And thank you for listening to the Smugglers Galaxy podcast. If you could, please leave a like and a 5-star review of the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. If it's allowed, it really helps us out and points people to our show. You can follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Send us an email or message us. We love feedback. We'd love to make you part of our show. Our email address is smugglersgalaxy@gmail.com. Thank you to Alfonso Riviera for the Smugglers Galaxy logo. And thank you to Levi Waterhouse for the music. People, collect for the love of it. Hashtag vote with your wallet. Pass on what you've learned. Be a positive force in the collecting community. This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.